Discovered, one heartwarming sentence from a coffee girl saved a billionaire $200 million. Jamie stood behind the counter of the bustling downtown café, the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the air. She poured a cup with practiced ease, her smile a warm beam cutting through the morning chaos. But inside, a storm raged. She was a single mother, struggling under the weight of debts after her husband's sudden departure. Each day felt like a tightrope walk, balancing her daughter's needs with her dream of opening a community center for single mothers like herself. "Do you want whipped cream with that?" she asked a regular, her tone bright despite the shadows lurking in her mind. Laughter echoed around her, mixing with the clattering of cups, but Jamie's heart felt heavy. She often found solace in her dreams, imagining a space where mothers could gather, share stories, and lift each other up. "Sometimes, all it takes is one hand reaching out to lift another," she whispered to herself, her hopes mingling with the steam from the espresso machine. One day, Paul, a regular who wore wealth like a tailored suit, stepped up to the counter. He was a billionaire navigating the relentless currents of corporate finance. He heard Jamie's dream, her voice sincere yet fragile. With a smirk, he chuckled. "Sounds a bit naive, don't you think?" But those words tugged on something deep within him. Here was Jamie, her heart wide open, and there he was, locked in a cage of numbers and profits. Gradually, life threw Paul into chaos. A risky venture unraveled, and panic clawed at his chest. He was on the brink of losing everything he had built, yet Jamie's simple words echoed in his mind. In that moment of desperation, he began to reconsider if wealth was all there was to fight for. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jamie found herself preparing to speak at a community fundraiser, heart racing with excitement and nerves. In that dimly lit room, she stood before an audience, the glow of hope lighting her eyes. As she shared her vision for a community center, her hands trembled. She spoke about struggles, dignity, and the strength of mothers. With each word, she saw faces soften, felt a ripple of connection in the room. Suddenly, the energy shifted. Paul, seated among disbelieving colleagues, felt an unfamiliar fire rising in his chest. Inspired, he realized he couldn't let the voices of doubt extinguish this moment. Would he be brave enough to step forward and support Jamie's vision? As Jamie finished, her heart pounded, a question hung in the air. Would their connection lead to something bigger than themselves, or would fear keep them trapped in their respective worlds? With the future hanging precariously, the spectators leaned in, captivated. Could one heartfelt connection truly change lives, or would the weight of societal expectations crush their dreams? Jamie stepped off the stage, her heart still racing. The applause was a distant echo as she made her way through the crowd, her mind spinning with the possibilities. Did they really believe in her vision? Each smile and nod felt like light breaking through her worries, but a flicker of uncertainty remained. What if Paul didn't step up? What if his laughter was the only response she received? Across the room, Paul's thoughts were churning. He felt drawn to Jamie, her passion igniting something inside him that had long been extinguished by board meetings and bottom lines. She had shown him a glimpse of life beyond wealth and status. As he made his way toward her, he could feel the weight of his colleagues' skepticism. What's a billionaire doing talking to a barista? They would say. But in that moment, they were all noise, drowning in the back of his mind. "Jamie!" he called out, catching her just as she slipped through the crowd. She turned, surprise dancing in her eyes. I want to help." Her gaze searched his, a cautious hope blooming. "Help how?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let us discuss your community center idea. I want to support you." The sincerity of his words hung in the air, painting the room with possibility. A rush of gratitude flooded Jamie's senses, mingling with disbelief. Paul? Helping her? The whirlwind of emotions threatened to sweep her away. "You really mean that?" She hadn't expected him to be serious, let alone interested enough to reach out. "Absolutely," Paul replied, an urgency behind his words. "I know people, I can connect you with resources. This is bigger than what either of us can do alone." As excitement swelled in her chest, a flicker of doubt shadowed Jamie's thoughts. What did wealth know about the struggles single mothers faced? It felt like mixing oil and water. "And what do you get out of it?" she asked, her voice steady even as her heart raced with anticipation. Paul hesitated, layers of corporate bravado peeling away. "Maybe what I stand to gain is learning from you from these mothers. I've lost the human touch in my line of work." Jamie took a step back, feeling the weight of the moment. A billionaire longing for connection. It was surreal. "Are you sure? You know this community? It's not just about money, it's about trust. It's about making a real difference." "I know, Jamie. That's why I want to help. Let us make it work," he insisted, his eyes earnest. As she met his gaze, warmth washed over her. Hope flickered like a candle flame daring to light the darkness. They were two people from different worlds, but maybe they could forge a path together. Later that evening, Jamie's daughter, Mia, lay in bed, her soft breath a soothing lull. Jamie's heart blossomed with new possibilities as she pictured the center a place filled with laughter, support, and dreams. But would Paul stay true to his word? What if he got overwhelmed? Heartache was all too familiar. Just then, her phone pinged. A message lit up the screen. Paul wanted to meet the next day to discuss plans and ideas. That moment of connection rewrote her dreams, but uncertainty nibbled at her joy. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in warm hues. Jamie leaned against the window, watching the world transform. Could their partnership survive the challenges ahead? Or would hidden motives unravel everything they hoped to build? Tomorrow would reveal the answers, but as she closed her eyes, the weight of possibility hung heavy in the air. Would they dare to chase their dreams together, despite the odds? The morning light peeked through Jamie's window, illuminating the cluttered kitchen where she sat nursing her coffee. It had been a long night of tossing and turning, filled with thoughts of the meeting with Paul. Excitement battled with anxiety, raising questions that kept her awake. Her eyes drifted to Mia's empty seat at the table where her daughter usually fussed over her breakfast, lost in a world of cartoons. Today was different. Today had the potential to change everything. As she prepared to leave, she took a moment to adjust her hair, trying to erase the ghost of self-doubt haunting her mind. Would she be able to articulate her vision clearly? Would Paul still be interested in supporting her? The weight of those questions pressed heavily on her chest, but she knew she had to try. At the coffee shop later, Jamie was all nerves as she set her belongings down. She glanced around, the familiar scent of roasted beans grounding her. It felt safe, yet the anticipation surged within her. Her heart skipped as Paul walked in, looking both out of place and perfectly suited at the same time. He wore a casual shirt that softened the edges of his billionaire persona, but there was still that flicker of determination in his expression. "Hey," he said, his smile lighting up the room as he approached her table. "Hi. Thanks for meeting me." Jamie shifted, a nervous energy bubbling under her skin. "I wasn't sure you'd actually show up." "Of course I would." He slid into the seat across from her, his eyes narrowing with intensity. "This means a lot to me, and I want to hear everything." She felt the urge to spill all her dreams and plans, but instead, she took a deep breath. "Okay, so here's the vision." As she spoke, Jamie painted a vivid picture of the community center. A space that could inspire single parents, provide resources, and foster a sense of belonging. With every word she uttered, she could see Paul nodding along, his interest piquing more with each detail. "Imagine a large room," she said, enthusiasm radiating from her, filled with kids laughing, art hung up everywhere from local artists. "A safe haven for every single mom, a place where they can find hope," Paul added, his tone serious yet warm. "Yes. Exactly." Jamie's heart swelled. Together, it felt like they were building something powerful. Paul leaned back, an appraising look crossing his face. "You've thought a lot about this." "I have," she admitted, excitement flowing through her. "But it's not about what I think, it's about what the community needs." There was a moment of silence, charged with possibilities. Then Paul asked the question Jamie had been anticipating but hoped would not come. "How much funding do you think you'll need to get it started?" Her heart dropped. Numbers swirled in her mind. "Honestly? It could take a few $100,000 at least to get it off the ground." His expression shifted slightly, uncertainty flashing in his eyes. "That's a lot. But I can manage that." "Are you sure?" Jamie worried, her stomach twisting. "I don't want you to feel pressured." Paul leaned closer, a new intensity in his gaze. "I'm not doing this for you, Jamie. I'm doing this for every mother who has ever felt lost. If we're going to do this, we have to commit fully." His words ignited a fire within her. They could really change lives, but how did they navigate the complexities of their worlds? A coffee girl and a billionaire creating a bridge, but would it collapse under the weight of expectations? Could she really trust him? Jamie had to decide if she was willing to take the leap with him. As the conversation flowed, Jamie felt the pressure of time. The stakes were rising, and this wasn't just about a center, it was about hearts. Would they be able to bridge their differences and succeed together? Just then, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down, her heart racing. Another message from Paul. What could it mean? "Are you ready to join me on this journey?" he asked, a challenging glimmer in his eyes. What would she say? The answer could change everything. Jamie felt a surge of warmth radiate through her. The question hung in the air like a delicate thread, connecting them with the weight of possibility. She looked into Paul's eyes, searching for assurance, a shared dream glimmering there. "Ready?" she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. He nodded, his gaze steady and passionate. "I wouldn't ask otherwise, Jamie." In that moment, Jamie felt a swell of courage. This wasn't merely about numbers or funding, it was about a vision that could bring hope to those who needed it most. With a racing heart, she clutched her coffee cup tightly, her fingers trembling around the warm ceramic. "Okay. Let us do this." Paul leaned back, a slow, thoughtful smile breaking across his face. "Great. Let us outline the next steps. I have a team that can help with the logistics. We'll sort out the funding, and I can introduce you to some local advocates." As he spoke, Jamie's pulse quickened with every word. She remained focused, the world outside the coffee shop fading away. But just as she began to imagine the community center taking shape, her phone buzzed again, interrupting her daydream. It was a message from Mia's school. What now? Was the immediate thought that flared in her mind. She hesitated, torn between the meeting and her daughter's needs. Just a glance wouldn't hurt, she reasoned, switching her attention to the screen. Her heart sank. "Please come to the school immediately. Mia has not been feeling well." Jamie's stomach dropped. "I'm sorry, Paul. I need to go." Paul's expression turned to concern as she grabbed her bag. "Is everything okay?" "I don't know. My daughter," she stood, the urgency in her voice matching the rising panic in her heart. "I have to get to her. Do you want me to come with you?" "I can drive." "No, it's okay. I'll manage." She rushed out of the coffee shop, her thoughts spinning wildly. The hopes of the community center began to slip from her grasp like sand through her fingers. This was the last thing she needed now. The school loomed ahead, a building that she'd driven past countless times but had never felt such a heavy weight as she did now. As she hurried inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed above her, a reminder of her frantic reality. When she reached the nurse's office, the sight of Mia laid out on the cot tugged at Jamie's heart. Her daughter's small frame, usually full of energy and laughter, looked fragile. Tears prickled the corners of Jamie's eyes as she rushed to her side. "Mia, honey," she whispered, brushing hair off her forehead. "What's wrong?" Mia opened her sleepy eyes and managed a weak smile. "I just want to go home, Mom." "I know, sweetheart. It's okay." Jamie took her hand, her world narrowing to just this moment. Everything else, the center, Paul, felt far away. Right now, Mia needed her to be there. As the nurse explained it was likely a stomach bug, Jamie listened with half an ear, her thoughts still tangled. She felt torn between her responsibilities as a mother and the opportunity of a lifetime before her. By the time the nurse finished, Jamie felt a new resolve. "I can handle this," she thought, but another part of her questioned if she could balance it all. Just as Mia settled back into her cot, Jamie's phone buzzed again, a notification from Paul that made her heart sink further. "Let us go over plans tonight. I believe in what we're building." Jamie's emotions churned. Could she manage the demands of both being a mother and pursuing her dream? Or would she have to sacrifice one for the other? Staring at Mia, she realized the answer was just within reach, but the path to securing both was unclear and daunting. As she held her daughter's hand, a new question echoed in her mind: would her dreams come crumbling down, or was this the moment of truth she'd been waiting for? The stakes were rising. Jamie would have to find a way to balance it all before it was too late. Jamie sat beside Mia, gripping her daughter's small hand as if it were a lifeline. The nurse's voice faded into the background noise of her swirling thoughts. She focused on Mia's face, the way her eyes fluttered slightly as she fought to stay awake. At that moment, all Jamie could think was how fragile life felt, her dreams of a community center suddenly feeling like a distant star, too far to reach. "Mia, I hate seeing you like this," she whispered, squeezing her hand gently. "I wish I could take your pain away." "I'm okay, Mom. Just tired," Mia murmured, a hint of her usual spirit trying to break through. Jamie wished she could see more of that spark, instead of the pale visage before her. The afternoon dragged on. Mia napped intermittently, her small body curling up as if trying to contain the illness inside her. Jamie texted Paul, her fingers shaking. "Mia's sick. Can we reschedule?" His response came quickly. "Of course. Family comes first. Hope she feels better." His words offered a sliver of comfort, yet uncertainty nagged at Jamie. How long would this take? Could she still pursue her vision while ensuring her daughter was okay? The two worlds she had tried to keep separate were colliding. She glanced around the nurse's office. Other children were resting, some with parents nearby, offering soothing words. Jamie felt a pang of envy. She wished she had that kind of family support to lean on. Even with her friends, it was hard to ask for help. That's how she ended up juggling everything. Mama Mia's voice brought her back. Her eyes were wide open, a hint of fear apparent. Are you gonna stay here?" "Of course I am. Always." Jamie felt a wave of determination wash over her. If this was going to be a test of her strength, she would not back down. "I'm not going anywhere, sweetie. Promise?" Mia breathed, shifting slightly. "Promise." The word hung in the air between them, solid and unbreakable. As the clock ticked on, Jamie watched her daughter doze, her breathing gradually returning to a steadier rhythm. A sense of calm settled over her. She recalled the dreams she'd conjured in the coffee shop, far from the chaos of this moment. The late-night planning sessions, the laughter shared at brainstorming ideas, and the fiery hope of creating something amazing felt like the past and the future pressed up against each other. She drew in a deep breath, the air suffused with the scent of disinfectant and the slightest hint of strawberries from Mia's flavored lip balm. Jamie pulled out her notebook, flipping to a blank page. She had to reclaim her focus. She scribbled out plans for the center, ideas surfacing like bubbles in a glass. Each word on the page felt like a promise to herself and Mia. But just as she started, a thought crept in: what if I fail? The whisper tugged at her confidence. Jamie shook her head violently. No. She could not let fear steal her dreams. Not now. Hours later, the nurse returned with news that made Jamie's heart lift. I think Mia will be okay. It's just a bug and she can go home today. Relief washed over her, but then reality hit. Would she have the energy to juggle both her concerns for Mia and her ambitions for the community center? As she gathered Mia's things, she thought about the upcoming meeting with Paul. Would she have to open up about this struggle? Fear clawed at her gut like a wild animal, but this was a chance to confront not only her challenges at home but the very real stakes of her ambitions. Grabbing Mia's hand, she felt a new commitment swell within her, a determination to fight for both her daughter and her vision. As they left the school, Mia looked up at her with wide, trusting eyes. What's next, Mama? Life, Jamie answered softly, the weight of that single word lying heavy yet liberating in her chest. What would life demand of her next? Ahead of them lay uncertainties both personal and professional, and Jamie couldn't shake the feeling that change was coming. Would she have the courage to embrace it? Her heart raced. With every step, a question lingered: could she really shape a future for her daughter and her community, or would one dream have to fall away? As they walked out into the cool afternoon air, Jamie felt a flutter of hope blend with the anxiety still swirling inside her. Each step was heavier now, not just with the weight of Mia's hand in hers, but with the gravity of everything that lay ahead. She had just been handed a second chance, but what did that really mean? Mama, can we get ice cream? Mia's voice, light and cheerful, cut through Jamie's thoughts. It surprised her how quickly Mia could shift from fear to joy, just like that. Absolutely, Jamie smiled back, grateful for the moment of normalcy amidst the chaos. Anything to see Mia's smile again, to spark that flicker of spirit that had been hiding under the illness. They found a small ice cream shop nearby. The colorful display of flavors sent Mia's excited gasp echoing in the warm space. Jamie watched as her daughter studied the menu, her brows furrowing in concentration. It reminded Jamie of the way she felt planning for the community center: so many choices, and each decision felt monumental. As they waited in line, Jamie felt her phone buzz again. It was Paul, asking if they were still on for their meeting tomorrow. Her heart sank as she read the message. Tomorrow. Could she really commit to discussing her dreams when Mia had just gotten out of the hospital? Mama, can we share the chocolate chip cookie dough? Mia interjected, her eyes sparkling as she reached for Jamie's hand. Of course we can, Jamie replied, trying to mask the inner turmoil. As they ordered, the weight of her dreams pressed heavier on her shoulders. With their ice cream in hand, they took a seat outside. The sun was beginning its descent, casting warm rays that felt comforting. Jamie watched Mia relish every bite. The laughter of children playing nearby tugged at something deep within her, a longing mixed with fear. What are you thinking about, Mom? Mia's voice was sweet, melodic, a soft reminder of all Jamie held dear. Just how proud I am of you, Jamie said, choosing her words carefully. Mia deserved honesty, but how could Jamie explain the doubts in her heart? Mia rolled her eyes playfully, flipping her hair back. I can tell when you're lying, you know. Jamie chuckled, nodding. Okay, fair enough. I'm just thinking about our future, you know. Dreaming a bit. She took a deep breath, tasting the sweetness of the ice cream still lingering in her mouth. "Dream big, Mom. You'll make it happen," Mia said confidently, her small face brimming with belief. How could one small girl inspire such strength? Jamie felt tears blur her vision, mixed with the gratitude swelling in her chest. Mia's faith was like the ice cream, rich and warm, melting in her heart. But as the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows, Jamie's confidence faltered. Dreaming was one thing. Making it a reality was yet another canyon to cross. Her phone buzzed again, and she looked down. Another message from Paul. "Looking forward to seeing you. Excited about the plans." Could she show up and be strong for him when she felt so unstable herself? "Mia, can I say something?" Jamie asked, wanting to cherish this moment where they were able to connect. "Sure. What is it? What if I let you down?" Mia shook her head vigorously, her ice cream momentarily forgotten. "You won tea, Mom. You can do anything. I believe in you." That moment ignited something inside Jamie, a spark she couldn't help but clutch tightly. Still, doubts lurked like shadows on the edges of her mind. The meeting with Paul loomed. Would she be showing him the woman with a dream or the frazzled mom struggling to keep life together? As they finished their ice creams, Mia sighed contentedly. "Maybe we can make ice cream at the community center. That would be so fun." Just like that, Mia made it seem so simple. Jamie's heart clenched at the thought. Could her dreams really include her daughter in such a meaningful way? As they stood to leave, Jamie felt the sunlight fade, and the day's warmth begin to dissipate. With every challenge stacked in front of her, a question loomed: how could she merge her passions with the reality of motherhood? Knowing that the meeting would come far too quickly, Jamie's resolve fizzled just a bit. Could she transform her fears into fuel for her fire, or would her dreams slip further away? As they turned to go home, an unexpected wave of determination washed over her. There was no time for self-doubt. Mia believed in her. Jamie needed to believe in herself too. Mia looked up, her gaze piercing. "When do we start?" Taking a deep breath, Jamie squared her shoulders. The moment felt pivotal. "Tomorrow." But as the evening shadows deepened, Jamie couldn't shake the anxiety that whispered deep down: would she be strong enough to take on the path that awaited her? And even more pressing, what would happen when her dreams collided with reality? As the next morning dawned, Jamie's resolve wavered like the fading light of the previous day. She had carved out a place in her heart for hope, but doubt snickered in the back of her mind like a mischievous child. What if she stumbled? What if the meeting with Paul unveiled her insecurities instead of her aspirations? The smell of coffee brewed in the kitchen as she prepared breakfast. Mia bounded in, her face beaming with morning excitement, a stark contrast to Jamie's inner turmoil. "Mama. I had the coolest dream. We were at the community center, but it was a magical castle, and we had ice cream fountains." "Wow, that sounds amazing," Jamie replied, forcing herself to smile. "I know. And there were puppies everywhere." Mia twirled around, clutching a stuffed animal. "Maybe we could make the community center just like that." As Jamie poured cereal, she considered her daughter's imagination. "Do you think you'd like to help me plan it?" "Yes." Mia's eyes twinkled with fervor. "If we make it fun, everyone will come." "Exactly," Jamie replied, her heart warming a little. Maybe Mia's whimsy was the spark she needed. If she could just channel that magic into her meeting with Paul, turn business into a castle, dreams into puppies. The hour rolled on quickly, and they both got dressed. With Mia in her favorite dress, complete with sparkly shoes, she looked like a ray of sunshine. Jamie's heart swelled, yet anxiety churned in her stomach as she glanced at the clock. Time was slipping away, creeping closer to what felt like an impending storm. "Mama, can I draw you a picture for your big meeting?" Mia asked, looking up with such earnestness. Sure. What do you think I should draw? Draw yourself as a superhero. With a cape, and all your dreams around you. Jamie laughed, incredulous at Mia's boundless spirit. A superhero? Yes. You can be the superhero who saves the day. Inspired by Mia's enthusiasm, Jamie reached for a piece of paper and started sketching. Each line became a small galaxy of her hopes, despite the nagging fear that they could all be swept away. See? You already look so brave. Mia's eyes sparkled as she watched. As they finished breakfast, Jamie stole a glance at her reflection in the kitchen window. Today, she needed to wear her bravest face. She needed to show Paul the passionate woman dedicated to community, not the fearful mom hiding in shadows. As they walked out the door, Jamie grasped Mia's hand tightly, feeding off her courage. The sunlight was bright, but her worries lurked just out of sight. On the ride to the community center, Jamie played along with the chatter about the puppy adventures in Mia's dreams, but inside, her mind was racing. What if Paul didn't take her ideas seriously? What if he saw only a struggling single mom and dismissed her dreams? Mama, you'll show him how amazing you are, Mia said, clearly sensing her mother's inner dialogue. You're my superhero. I'm trying, sweetheart, Jamie replied quietly, a lump forming in her throat. When they arrived, the buzz in the center filled her ears. Community members floated through, each one vital to the vision she held. But as she walked through the doors toward Paul, her heart began to pound. His demeanor was warm, encouraging, but a part of her feared he'd see right through her facade. Mia, why don't you play over there for a few minutes? Jamie suggested, pointing to a corner with colorful posters and a small group of engaged kids. Okay. But don't forget to be a superhero. Mia replied, her bright energy lighting the room. Taking a deep breath, Jamie approached Paul, who awaited her with a genial smile. Ready? Ready as I can be, she replied, praying she could keep her dreams from dissolving like ice cream in the sun. But just as she began explaining her vision, a child burst through the center doors, breathless and wide-eyed. Miss Jamie. There's something you need to see. Her heart raced. What could it possibly be? Jamie stilled, her meeting hanging in the balance, the excitement in the child's voice pulling in her focus. Would this unexpected interruption turn her meeting upside down or spark something incredible? She took a steadying breath, bracing herself. What would happen next? The child stood there, cheeks flushed and eyes darting, barely able to catch her breath. It's something amazing. You have to come quick. Jamie exchanged a quick glance with Paul, who raised an eyebrow, clearly curious. Shall we? He asked, a hint of amusement dancing in his voice. Yes, let us go see, Jamie replied, trying to mask the anxious flutter in her stomach. As they followed the child down the hallway, she felt a mix of frustration and intrigue. Was this break in her pitch a disaster or an opportunity? Mia's laughter echoed in the background, contrasting sharply with the tension coiling in Jamie's chest. They stepped into a brightly lit room, where children were gathered around a large canvas, paint splattered everywhere. The sight was heartwarming, chaotic yet beautiful. In the middle of it all stood Mia, holding a smaller brush with paint smudged across her cheeks. Look, Mama! We're making a mural! She exclaimed proudly, her eyes alight with joy. Jamie felt her heart swell. There was her little girl, transforming the mundane into magic, just like in her dream. You did this, sweetheart? Jamie asked, kneeling beside her to take a closer look. Yeah. And everyone helped. Look at the puppies and the ice cream. Mia pointed at the colorful images covering the canvas, a jumble of bright swirls and shapes that brought a smile to Jamie's face. Paul stood back, quietly observing the scene. For a moment, the world around Jamie faded, the sound of children giggling fading into a warm hum. She watched her daughter, with pure, unfiltered creativity, effortlessly turning a simple room into a wonderland. "Wow, Mia, this is beautiful," Jamie said, her voice thick with emotion. Mia grinned, then turned to Paul. "And this is my mommy. She's a superhero." The room erupted in laughter. Paul's smile was genuine, and Jamie felt a flutter of hope. Maybe this unexpected turn wasn't a destruction of her pitch at all. Perhaps it was a reminder of the very essence of community she wished to create. "Children create the best art, don't they?" Paul said, looking at Jamie with newfound appreciation. "They bring everything back to life in such a vibrant way." "Yes, they really do," Jamie replied, her heart racing. She glanced from Paul to Mia. The dichotomy of her worries and the joy that surrounded her felt overpowering. As the moments passed, Paul stepped closer, examining the mural. This could be an incredible centerpiece for the community center. His eyes sparkled with inspiration. "Imagine an event where we invite everyone to participate in creating pieces like this together, building something much bigger as a community." Jamie's breath hitched. "You really think so?" "I do." He nodded earnestly. "That would bring people together, like your daughter has done here. It's creative and fun, it's different." The rush of excitement sparked a new fire in Jamie. This was what she wanted all along, a way to connect her vision with the hearts of those in the community. Just then, Mia pulled Jamie's hand, pointing at her own artwork. "Can we put this in the center, too?" "Yes." Jamie agreed, her heart swelling. "Let us definitely include your amazing mural." As laughter erupted around them, Jamie dared to dream bigger. Perhaps the meeting with Paul was not only about her ideas but also about rekindling hope through the children they aimed to serve. But as the excitement peaked, Jamie couldn't ignore a gnawing worry. What if their shared vision sparked something in the community, something so grand that it was beyond her control? With a sense of purpose blossoming within her, Jamie turned to Paul. "Then let us make it happen." And just as she felt a weight begin to lift, the fire alarm blared, sending a sudden shock through the room. Children started to panic, their laughter turning into frantic calls for their parents. Every bright vision seemed to cloud over in an instant. Would Jamie's moment of clarity withstand this new storm? How would they handle the chaos that erupted around them? The shrill sound of the fire alarm pierced through the joyful atmosphere, transforming laughter into confusion in an instant. Jamie felt her stomach drop as voices rose in panic. Children rushed toward the exits, their little legs moving as fast as they could carry them. "Everyone, stay calm," Paul shouted, his voice firm yet reassuring. He stepped forward, trying to create order amidst the chaos, but Jamie's heart raced. She scanned the room for Mia, who had frozen in place, wide-eyed and frightened. "Mia!" Jamie called, her voice rising above the cacophony. She rushed to her daughter, who was holding her paintbrush like a lifeline. "It's okay, sweetheart. We have to go outside, all right?" Mia nodded, but tears began to well in her eyes, frustration clashing with fear. Jamie knelt down, brushing aside any lingering thoughts of her pitch, focusing entirely on her little girl. "Hold my hand. We're going to get out together." With a firm grip, Jamie led Mia toward the nearest exit. The noise felt overwhelming, but she kept her gaze steady on the door, willing her daughter with every ounce of confidence she could muster. "You're so brave. I'm so proud of you." As they reached the hallway, more children funneled through, some calling for their parents, some crying. It was a small sea of anxious faces. Paul had already begun guiding a group of kids out, his steady presence illuminating the path. The air shifted as they stepped outside, the cool breeze hitting Jamie's flushed skin. She took a deep breath, her mind racing back to the ideas she had begun to form just moments before. This moment the chaos, the fear could just as easily overshadow their dreams. But Jamie pushed the thoughts aside, focusing on Mia's hand in hers. Once outside, Jamie found a safe spot away from the building. The children gathered around, a few still crying, their fears palpable. Jamie noticed a group of parents rushing in, faces etched with concern. A wave of relief washed over her as she spotted other familiar faces. "Is everyone here?" Paul's authoritative voice rang out as he began counting heads. Jamie clutched Mia close, whispering, "It's going to be okay, honey. Look, everyone is safe." Just then, Jamie noticed a little boy standing apart, tears streaming down his cheeks, calling for his mom. Her heart constricted at the sight. It was moments like these, she realized, that truly showcased the power of community. "Mia," she whispered, kneeling down to her level, "can you help this boy? He needs a friend." Mia nodded, her face lighting up with purpose. She approached the boy, taking his hand. "Come on. It'll be okay. We can all go find our parents together." Jamie watched as her daughter transformed her fear into courage, just as the children had done with their mural. It was the perfect blend of innocence and bravery, the kind of spirit that had ignited the idea for the community project in the first place. As the emergency personnel arrived, Jamie felt a wave of determination rise within her once more. The needs of the community were essential. It wasn't just about art or decorations. It was about bringing people together, especially in moments of uncertainty. But as she watched Mia lead the boy away, Jamie felt the weight of responsibility settle back in. What if this chaos, this fire alarm, revealed deeper issues they hadn't even begun to address? She turned to Paul, their eyes locking amidst the whirl of shouts and sirens. "We have to make this more than just an event. We need to create a real foundation for support." "Absolutely," he replied, his brow furrowed with realization. "This is a calling, not just a project." Jamie's heart raced again, but this time it was fueled by excitement as well as concern. What if their vision for the community could become a living, breathing entity? One that rose up through fear and uncertainty, bringing hope instead? Just then, an officer approached, giving them a knowing look. "We need to make sure the building is safe before anyone goes back inside." Jamie's eyes flickered nervously toward the door. Would they really go back in? Was their community ready to face such uncertainty together? As she pondered that question, another thought sparked. What if this was just the beginning of a much greater journey, one filled with more challenges than she imagined? With every heartbeat, Jamie felt the weight of change pressing down on her, and at that moment, she knew this was only the start. What awaited them once they returned to the gym was yet to be discovered. Would they rise together, or would their hopes crumble under pressure? As the minutes ticked by while they stood outside, the roaring sirens slowly softened into the rhythm of muffled voices. Jamie watched as the children formed intricate clusters, seeking comfort in each other, drawing on the magic of community they had instinctively built. She felt a surge of gratitude flow through her, realizing how their little circle of joy had somehow expanded beyond her wildest dreams. "Mama!" Mia's voice rang out, bright and powerful. She emerged from the throng of kids, her cheeks still rosy from the earlier fright but now lit with a sense of accomplishment. "We helped him. He wasn't scared anymore." In that moment, Jamie felt a wave of pride wash over her. It was true, the fear had shifted into something beautiful, alive, and transformative. She knelt down, wrapping her arms around Mia, pulling her close. "You were so brave, sweet girl. Like a superhero," her daughter declared, giggling as she tugged her mother's hair playfully. Just then, Paul joined them, the weight of the situation still evident in his expression. "What Mia did was inspiring," he said, nodding toward her. "That's the heart of what we want to build. A place where kids can thrive, support one another, and find strength in their community." Jamie's heart tightened. They had stumbled into something strong that day, something beyond a mere funding proposal. They had uncovered the very fabric of connection that could bind people together. "We have to remember this moment," she said softly, her eyes meeting Paul's. This is what it's all about. Exactly, he responded, a fire igniting in his eyes. We need to focus on making the center a safe space for every child and every mother, a sanctuary where everyone can help each other, just like Mia did. The officer approached them with a firm but kind demeanor. We're ready for you to re-enter the building, but please be cautious and stay close together. As Jamie stood up, she felt invigorated, a new breath of life filling her lungs. They could be pioneers for healing and commonality, a lighthouse in a storm. Together with Mia, they moved toward the entrance. Paul stayed close, offering a reassuring nod as they ventured back into the gym, uncertainty still flickering but now accompanied by hope. Inside, the atmosphere had shifted. The children were still buzzing with excitement, fueled by the rush of adrenaline, each ready to connect the dots of chaos into creativity. Let us continue working on the mural, Mia exclaimed, leading the charge back to the room. Jamie pinched herself, taking in the scene. Art supplies lay scattered everywhere, inventive imaginations unleashed amid a canvas awaiting their touches. She stood to the side, her heart swelling anew, knowing this was the spark they could create spaces for children to express their fears and joys through art. Let us organize this, Paul suggested, rolling up his sleeves. Mia, how about naming each corner of the mural? It could represent different themes like love, bravery, and friendship. Everyone chimed in, young voices merging into a chorus of laughter as they brainstormed. Jamie could hardly contain her joy. This felt like magic, the kind she'd pictured in her dreams about the community center. Emboldened, Jamie shouted over the excitement, let us turn this mural into the heart of our center. We'll let the kids design it together, and every year, we can have a celebration to unveil new themes, new messages of hope, transformed by their experiences. Eyes lit up around the room, children shouted in enthusiasm. Paul nodded approvingly and added, and I can reach out to local businesses to sponsor each phase of the mural. Their contributions could go directly to the center's materials and resources. They bounced ideas back and forth, dreams spilling over the edges of their laughter, transforming the once-eerie moments of fear into a gathering of triumph and resilience. Jamie's heart sang, a beautiful fusion of motherhood and community was underway. Time melted away faster than she would have liked. As they wrapped up for the day, the children gathered around Mia's patch of the mural, now adorned with a swath of vivid colors, ice cream cones, and wintry puppies gleefully dancing alongside brave superheroes. Mama, this is the best day ever, Mia exclaimed, eyes sparkling with pride. It really is, Jamie replied, embracing her passionately. And there's so much more to come. The sun dipped low, casting warmth and light over this moment, forging connections that transcended circumstances. In a whirl of emotion, Jamie realized they could build something stronger together, something that could inspire and uplift even in the darkest times. Hand in hand, Jamie and Mia stepped out into the evening air, feeling renewed by the energy they had tapped into. Paul caught up with them and smiled. I think we're onto something special here. Definitely, Jamie agreed, her spirit dancing with hope. We've got to keep this energy alive. Let's schedule more meetings, bring in more parents, and let the entire community join us. As they walked back toward Jamie's car, her heart brimmed at the thought of what lay ahead. She had taken the leap, and together they had transformed chaos into hope. It wasn't just a dream now, it was their reality, vibrant and full of potential. And with every step, she was reminded, fear may be a visitor, but so too was courage, a resilient companion as they turned the page on life's challenges, ready to write a new chapter, one filled with community, art, and love. This was it. This was the moment where everything changed, the incredible possibility of their story just beginning. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you believe in the power of transformation and community just as Jamie did, you need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. It's time to show your support. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm. We want to hear from you. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your thoughts matter. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because together, we can inspire more change.